Alright guys, welcome back to Conquer and Commander. Today we're going to be looking at a game featuring my Ghave Guru of Spores planeswalker themed deck. This is a two-headed giant commander game. And I was a little concerned about playing this in a two-headed giant. It is nice to have somebody on your side, but on the other hand it's essentially more or less one-on-one, so people aren't going to be attacking anybody else. It's essentially my opponent's attackers versus me. But I decided to take it and see what it could do, so here it is. Let's take a look at my teammate first of all. My teammate is Ruhan of the Fomori, which is actually pretty good in Two-Headed Giant because it's essentially it can only attack one opponent, and so it's a 4-mana beater that for 7 mana. So the first 4 mana, 7 power beater. So that's good. So across from my teammate is my first opponent, Sheoldred, who doesn't really bother me as much because I'm really just token based and planeswalker based, so I'm not concerned as much about having to sacrifice my dudes. Usually mono black control. But going up against me is Karona, False God, who, is usually some sort of tribal based variant. So we'll see it could be anything, honestly. Looking at my hand, I've only got 2 lands, and even though the rest of my cards are good, I'm going to send this back. My opponent only has 1 land and is playing with stuff like Veil of Secrecy and what is that? Touch of Invisibility and Geth's Grimoire. So he's going to send his back as well. And I draw into 4 lands and 3 visits, and he draws into Kong Ming and Anger and Sarah's Blessing. So those are both keeps for us. My place is over here. His is up here. So let's see what happens here. He draws into Thran Dynamo. I play my Bayou and draw into Grave Pact. Not a whole lot. Again, Sarah's Blessing. Again, people tap out early in order just to speed the game up. I 3 visits for Overgrown Tomb just to get the additional black mana out there. What I really want to do, and there's Crystalline Sliver, is get Elspeth out there and start pumping her up. I'm going to be able to do that on turn 3. Ruhan plays Darksteel Ingot. I go ahead and drop a land and Elspeth and make a soldier token. The Crystalline Sliver is interesting because that basically means it's a sliver deck, right? I mean, wouldn't it be? But then, I don't know, because he's not using a sliver commander. And then he uses Probe. Thank goodness it's not kicked because that would really hose me. Probe is a good card that doesn't really see a lot of play. If you kick it, you can make an opponent discard 2 cards. Alright, so Sheoldred plays Nihil Spellbomb and uses it just to draw. I got Elspeth attacked just to blow up my dude. That's fine, because I blocked with it. Oh yeah, and I lose my 3 visits. Alright, so Ruhan throws out the Thran Dynamo and then Anger and attacks. Ruhan's just ramping as much as possible. I make another soldier token, and then I play a Johnny, and I pump the soldier with Johnny's +1. Karona can't attack now without killing the sliver. Hypnotic Spectre from Sheoldred. Alright, we're going to go a little slower here because Karona's going to do something interesting. Ruhan plays his commander. It does not have haste because Anger is not in the graveyard, though. He does it. He doesn't. Does he attack with Anger? I think he does. Let's see here. Yeah, he does, but no block from Sheoldred. So Karona. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so I draw into Doubling Season, which is amazing in my deck. So I'll go ahead and play it. Oh no, first I attack, because I'm wondering about a counterspell or something like that. Crap. I gotta pause real quick. Look at Planeswalkers. Alright, I am back. I'm trying to draw out like a counter spell or something like that. Something in reaction to attacking with the soldier. I get nothing. He just takes the damage. So then I throw Doubling Season out there. And then Elspeth's +1 to make 2 soldiers. And then a Johnny to give 2 +1 counters on one of my soldiers. And then Karona plays Fact or Fiction, targeting me. So here's the pile: Steam Vents, Blood Crypt, Academy Ruins, Kagamaru, and Jace. What I want to do is split up Kagamaru and Jace, and I decide to put more lands onto the Jace side. Instead of the Kagamaru side, because I don't want him to make Kagamaru huge. That's at least my play. And he picks the Jace side. He uses Maelstrom Pulse to kill off my Elspeth. And then plays Powder Keg and kills off my other dudes, and then attacks a Johnny, knocking a Johnny's loyalty down to 4. Hypnotic Spectre grabs something out of his Ruhan, and then he plays Skull Snatcher. Ruhan plays Ardent Plea and cascades into Veil of Secrecy, targeting Ruhan, and then plays Glory of Warfare. So Ruhan's a 10/8, unblockable, with Vigilance and Shroud. So I go ahead and play Ghave, just because he's got a bunch of stuff, and I put a counters on him. And we go from there. Noxious Revival from Karona, getting the Maelstrom Pulse, and he blows up Ruhan with the Pulse and does nothing. Okay, so Cruel Edict from Sheoldred targets me, but I've got the ability to make a bunch of tokens and just sacrifice one of them. What I don't want to do is make Ghave smaller, because right now I can give him flying and double strike and just commander damage Karona. Hypnotic Spectre attacks Ruhan and he loses Karmic Guide. And then Sheoldred copies the Temple. Ruhan plays his commander again. Still doesn't have haste. He does sacrifice Strip Mine to strip mine the blue mana here, and Karona uses Homing Sliver to search up Manaweth Sliver. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. He still has a Sacred Foundry untapped. He attacks with Anger, and that drops Sheoldred down to 54, this guy. So then I'd give him flying and double strike to my Ghave and kill off the Karona player. Then I play Gideon, and I'm forcing the Sheoldred guys to attack Gideon, because now he can attack either of us. And Gideon's got 14 loyalty. So Sheoldred tries to oubliette Ghave, and I decide, you know what, I'm just going to take off a bunch of counters and then send him to the command zone. This is why Doubling Season's good in this deck. And these guys have to attack Gideon. There's a Howling Mine. Ruhan is going to beat the crap out of him right now. Oh no, he sends all his guys after him, knocking him down to 13. Then plays Howling Mine. I've got Liliana Vess. I turn Gideon into a dude. Oh yeah, that's right. And then I give one of my guys 2 +1/+1 counters. And since Sheoldred's only at 13 and he's tapped out, and Gideon's a dude as well, that's enough to do the 13 damage. So that worked out really well. I mean, really, Doubling Season's just a house in the deck. And turn 8 win. So there we go. Short game, I know, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Alright, thanks.